Hey, welcome to the special recap edition of the Influential Personal Brand Podcast. Mike Dillard, a real-life entrepreneur, network marketer, information marketer.
Doer of all things.
Doer of many, many things. Investor, and really a breadth of knowledge and wisdom to learn from. So we got our top 3 and 3. We're both aligned in what our big takeaways were, and we just want to summarize them and give you the highlights. So babe, why don't you kick us off?
Yeah, my first one is really short and simple, but is the utter importance of copy. Knowing how to write it, knowing what to say, knowing how often to say it, knowing in what formats to say it. I just think that hitting that was no doubt an ongoing aha moment for anyone who is trying to build a personal brand. And I love the way that he put it. And he said, it's your sale in writing. It's the conversation you would have in writing. And I love how he talked about how he was an introvert in direct sales. Yes, very similar. He said, but he became a millionaire, right? Like making millions of dollars every year, not over many years, every year, learning how to write really amazing copy because, and to some degree, he was a little too shy to do it in person, which I thought was really fascinating. So he was forced to learn how to do it, but boy, did he learned.
Yeah.
He did.
Copywriting was the big thing for me. And, he used that illustration, which has been around for a while in direct marketing, which is you don't sell the drill, you sell the hole.
Yeah.
You sell the finished product. We sometimes say, don't sell the journey, sell the destination. Right.
Sounds like Miley Cyrus.
No, she says it's the climb. That's totally different. That's
Pretty
not
similar.
what we're talking about.
It sounds like you've been listening to Hannah Montana.
Well, I'm not saying that I haven't been listening to Hannah Montana, but that's not the lesson here. Is just, sell the white sand beaches and the Mai Tais and this beautiful sunset, not the, hey, we get up and we lug to the airport and we stuff our suitcase and we pay baggage fees and we wait in line. And so, how many modules it is and how many lessons and how many courses, like that's not what people are buying. They're buying the result. And a
financial freedom, security, flexibility.
In our case, it's reputation, it's reach, it's influence, it's impact, it's income. The fact that we put you through a 9-phase process that's with detailed exercises and tons of education you got to learn. It's like, that's the hard work.
That's the hard work.
So don't sell that part. Don't tell them that part. Tell them what the result is.
Yeah, but I just know for us at Brand Builders Group, so many of our clients really struggle with how to write copy. What should I be saying? Just even getting the process started. And it's one of the probably singular main reasons outside of design that we even started our brands implementation services that we do for our clients is it's a real challenge for people to learn how to write sales copy is a challenge. So that was my big first takeaway.
Yeah. Marketing copy.
Yeah.
Cop. All right. The second one for both of us it's funny because AJ's a big believer in this about where does thought leadership come from? And
what are you going to say?
Well, against the grain is that a lot of times,
yes, I am.
It's like, if to be remarkable, as Seth Godin says, is being worth being remarked about, then what is remarkable? It's the things that you don't often hear. It either in a captivating content in that whole event and area, we talk about what can you say that either forwards the thinking or sharpens the thinking or is somehow different from what has been said. And Mike was a great example of that. I mean, it sounds like he was disrupting, early on, he was disrupting the industry that he was in terms of network marketing. He was one of the early people to go, hey, you could do this digitally. And that positions you as a thought leader. That makes you outstanding. It makes you remarkable. Is what can I say that's, counterintuitive or different or unique or advancing somehow what's been done or what's been said?
No, yeah. And I think for me, I think you probably heard this for years, the whole concept of look around, see what everyone else is doing, and then do the opposite. Like we probably hear that. I don't think many people let it sink in and then actually do it because it's so easy to look around and see what everyone else is doing and be like, oh, I got to do that. I have to do that too. Everyone has a course. I need a course. Everyone is email marketing. I need to do that. Everyone's on Instagram. I need to be on Instagram. And all of a sudden you look around and it's like you're doing all this stuff and none of it is really true to you. Because you did it just because other ones were. And he really said that, he took a look inside and said, I wanted to see what everyone else was doing and then just be like, but you don't have to. Doesn't have to be that way. And he found ways of really doing what worked for him and his own uniqueness, and then made it really apply to the business. And it's interesting because Rory and we've been watching this series with Andy Stanley, who is one of our favorite pastors of all time in Atlanta.
For sure.
And Buckhead Church is the church if you ever want to tune in.
But it's the Bible for Grown-ups.
The Bible for Grown-ups is the name
of the series. Yeah.
And I think this is an amazing parallel. Is one of the things that Andy Stanley was talking about. He said the Bible itself is only in existence because something outstanding happened that was noteworthy, right? The Bible is not this chronological documentation of everything that happened. That's not what the Bible is. The Bible is a collection of personal letters and proof that was passed down from person to person for years and years, documenting an outstanding event that happened, not all that different than how we would document something today, right? There is no doubt that the coronavirus, which is very prevalent in all of 2020, will be documented in a variety of different ways. When I think about this all the time, when Sully landed on the Hudson, it was documented in a way because it was something that was unique and outstanding and noteworthy. And I liken that to this.
Like being remarkable, doing something remarkable. And what Andy was saying is if Jesus died, there'd be nothing to write about. That happened. But that people saw him and the resurrection and all that, whether you believe that or not isn't necessarily the point right here, but is going, so many people saw him. It was something that happened. So many people wrote about it. Right. And that later became a collection of documents. But it's like something big happens and it's outside of the ordinary. And that's part of how you break through is like, it's again, I think it's that in our context, it's about what are you doing that is unique to you and how is your message, how does it separate itself from the crowd? How does it stand out? What is unique about it? And one easy place to say is, can I be counterintuitive? Yeah. That's one place to look, in addition to into some others.
Well, and I think too, just on that, I'll make this really short. It's truly looking at, does it have to be the way that it is?
Yeah.
Right. And if this doesn't feel right to me, if this isn't the way that I like to do things, if it isn't easy for me, do you have a new and better way? And if so, why not employ it? Why not teach it? Why not instruct it? Which is exactly what he did.
Yeah. So the critical thinking of not just accepting what is.
Yeah.
I like that. So then the other part I think was ads, was talking about how do you do the ad spend and, running ads. And that was a big part of the conversation. And the thing that was edifying for me to hear, because this is, Mike and I have met a couple times, but this was the first time that we really we're talking shop in detail, was the way that he was talking about one of the strategies that we teach at Phase 3, which is when you get into paid ads, everybody thinks about just like buying a lead for an ad that will convert. And really you want to almost separate that and split that in two and say, I want to buy an ad that helps me build an audience, that helps me build trust, that first I know this is someone who's interested in my content because they've looked, they've watched, they've liked, they've commented, they have engaged. And then I will serve up the ads for the things that convert those people only to those people, rather than just walking up,
selling to a stranger.
The equivalent would be selling to a stranger. And so going, no, I'm going to use, there's two pieces here to how we use paid ads. Build the audience, build the trust first with no real call to action other than engage with my content, and then come behind it and create the conversion. And, that's how you lower the ad cost and, spend less money and have more results.
Yeah. And also not look completely salesy to the external world, because that's all you're doing.
Preserve your reputation.
Because I feel like that's a huge concern that a lot of our network has is, well, I don't want to look like that person. And that's just a strategy behind it. I also loved on this, and we were somewhat aligned with this. And, you hear so many people talking about Instagram and Facebook, but I have heard this more and more over the last few months, and I don't know what it is. Maybe you have insight. I don't. But Mike brought it up again, and he said, yeah, well, we've been doing the Facebook, Instagram thing, but our focus is shifting towards Google and YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that we've learned some really cool things from our ad partner, Lion's Paw, about some unique YouTube strategy. So you want to share some of those?
Well, yeah. Well, and also we have an interview coming out with Rick Steele here in a couple of weeks that is freaking mind blowing around Google and paid ads.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cool things you can do on YouTube. As an example, one of the things that we didn't really know is that you can run an ad on a specific video, even if it isn't your video. So like my TED Talk that has millions of views, we've never run an ad on that video, which is dumb. There's millions of people who are literally watching me that we never have a way to connect with. And knowing that we can run an ad on that video, even if it's not our video, is a game changer.
Or even running ads on our own videos.
Yeah, to our own stuff.
Duh.
To say somebody's sitting here watching this video right now.
So why don't you introduce them to something else?
Go and say, hey, how can we move them off of this video into one of the funnels?
Mm-hmm.
Because you can target so specifically down to each individual video.
And YouTube advertising right now is so much less expensive.
Yeah, it's the wild west still.
So I just think those were just really interesting things that we keep hearing and popping up, and he brought that up. He also shares tons of really interesting investing ideas, and he, as Rory said, it's a wealth of knowledge, and there's a lot of different things covered on this interview, so well worth checking out.
Check it out. But look, there's a science to this. There's a structure, and you hear people like Mike, who clearly has been a student of the game for years and years and years. He's learning, he's getting coaching, he is reading, and then he's testing, and he's executing, and he's experimenting, and he's trying it out. And it adds up over the course of time. So we're glad that you're here. We feel lucky to be a part of your personal development and business development journey, specifically around helping you build and monetize your personal brand. We'll catch you next time on The Influential Personal Brand.